So we've talked a little bit about the social isolation problem and the importance of that regular contact, even kind of brief check-ins, whether it's from family or from, like your staff delivering meals to people. What impact does that have on our older adults, both physically and emotionally, in terms of their health?
Yeah. For me personally, I think this is the biggest thing out there. I mean, the food, of course, incredibly important, but if we think about food as medicine, if I said, "Hey Jeff, you come in," say I'm a doctor, and I come in and say, "Hey Jeff, great news for you today. I'm gonna get you on some food as medicine. I'm gonna plate you up a nice plate of medicine." You're probably not going to be that excited about the prospect of that. So we've got to make food, as I said, a bit more sexy, and as it is all the way through life, it's an occasion. So for me, the whole social aspect of what we're doing is big. And I see this firsthand with the customers that we serve. I know there are people shopping with heart-to meals, not because of the food. The food's great and the nutrition and everything, but they're still going to supermarkets, right? We don't sell toilet roll or milk. So they're still going to their local store. They could buy prepared meals from that store, but they're choosing not to. So that says to me that they want another occasion in the week, another engagement, whether it's calling a member of our team over the phone to have a 10-minute conversation while placing the order and talking about last night's Red Sox game, or whether it's seeing Joe, the driver who brings the food in, and they see them every week and they chat about it, and Joe pats the dog and chucks a dog biscuit their way. It means the world to them. And I'm not saying again that everybody's in this camp, but I know for some people we serve, Joe is the only person they will see that week.
Wow.
And there's been a lot, I think, off the back of the pandemic. I think that changed everything because we all went through a stage where we were a bit more isolated, whether we like to be or not. We might have had our household that we could engage with, but everyone went through a bit more of isolation and loneliness during that phase. And I think it became more real for everybody that wasn't a senior living on their own, that perhaps doesn't get out and about as much as they used to. So yeah, it's a big, big thing. And as I said, I know that individuals are using services like Heart Home Meals as much for the food as they are for that engagement with the people that provide the service in the business.
So you mentioned the example of the person who basically tried to kind of force the meals on their parent, didn't tell them that they were coming. How can adult children and caregivers better support nutrition or support better nutrition without really undermining the autonomy or dignity of the older?
Yeah, it's fantastic. That's a fantastic, challenging question, but fantastic. I think it's like anything. I think the buy-in or the getting that call it stakeholder buying, but in this individual trying to get the buy-in, it's about educating your parent in this particular circumstance. I know from my own family, I've got my parents who are very good at preparing food, right? So they bring plates and trays, and as you mentioned earlier, you brought a lot of food around for your mother, and in that process, it's, they don't, there's always a feeling, I think, and this is the key thing, that people feel like they're a burden. I don't want to be a burden on my children. And I think the key thing where we see that perhaps change is when they realize that, look, you're not a burden. I want to do this, and this is quite frankly, it's my duty. I'm your son or your daughter, and I want to provide the services and help you get the support you need. I think that's the big thing when they realize that, because that's the number one reason. I don't want to be a burden on anybody. And even so, not even just sons and daughters. If, let's say, a customer has a failed delivery because they were in the shower or they popped down the shop, and they will call up and say, "Oh, no, it was on me. I don't want to be a burden. I don't want the driver to turn around and come back to me and go out of his way for me." It's just that generational thing, I think, for many of those we serve, where they just don't want to put anybody out. They're very polite, very courteous. So overcoming that is the number one thing that we see that really helps get that message across.